So with small town America, you tend to get overlooked. I mean, like we're here in LA.
Yes.
It's a phenomenal city.
What just happened with Ben Napier has the world in shock, because this was not the kind of moment viewers expected from a man known for rebuilding things, not watching them fall apart. For years, people saw Ben as steady, practical, and calm under pressure. He became the face of work that felt hopeful. Old spaces brought back, broken places made useful again, and small-town dreams treated like they mattered. Then something changed. What was supposed to be another proud chapter around Ben Napier suddenly turned into a moment filled with confusion, loss, and unanswered questions. The shock was not only about what happened, it was about where it happened, who it touched, and why the aftermath seemed to keep growing even after the first wave of emotion passed. That is what makes this different. Some public moments fade quickly. This one did not. It stayed with people because it reached beyond television and landed inside real lives, real work, and a community that had believed something important was finally coming together. Now viewers are looking back at Ben Napier differently, not as a TV personality in a finished scene, but as a man standing inside the kind of loss no camera can make simple. So what just happened with Ben Napier, and why did it leave so many people shaken? August 26, 2025, turned the Heirloom Hotel from a celebration into a disaster. A fire broke out in downtown Laurel, Mississippi, inside the 25,000-square-foot building Ben Napier, Aaron Napier, and their closest friends had spent 18 months restoring. Local fire departments fought for hours, and the timing made it worse. The hotel was only days from its grand opening. The project itself was not just another renovation. The Heirloom Hotel was the largest project Ben and Aaron Napier had ever taken on, built inside a former 1930 Crest department store that had sat vacant for 40 years. It was meant to become a 30-room boutique hotel, a cooking school, and a retail space for Scotsman kitchen goods. Ben Napier's words showed how deep the loss went. After the Hometown Inn, This Together finale aired on May 31, 2026. He wrote, "The fire shocked everyone. It has felt like a death of a loved one in the community." For Laurel, this was not just property damage. It was a dream burning in public. HGTV's four-part spin-off made the destruction feel even more personal. Viewers had watched the 18-month renovation unfold across Hometown in This Together, only to see footage of Aaron Napier and Mallory Raspberry crying as the fire burned. Millions saw the project rise, then watched it vanish in the same finale. June 2026 added another layer to the shock. Nearly 10 months after the fire, Ben Napier publicly said Liberty Mutual, the hotel's insurer, still had not approved the claim. He wrote that their friends were still waiting for the claim to be completed. The fire was over, but the damage had not stopped. The fire was documented, the grief was real, and the insurance fight was still unresolved. But to understand why this loss felt like a death, the investigation has to look at what Ben, Aaron, and their friends had actually built. Downtown Laurel gave the Heirloom Hotel its meaning before the first guest ever arrived. The building sat at a prominent corner in Laurel, Mississippi, inside the former Crest department store. It had been vacant since the early 1980s, empty for nearly 40 years. In the same downtown, Ben Napier and Aaron Napier built their television life around saving. Jim Raspberry, Mallory Raspberry, Josh Nowell, and Emily Nowell were the owners leading the hotel, not just names beside the Napiers. In a June 2025 blog, Mallory described the past 18 months as the most ambitious project of their lives. That mattered because this was not only business. It was friends risking everything together. Family ties made the project even more personal. Aaron Napier and Jim Raspberry are first cousins because their fathers are brothers. Aaron and Mallory were roommates at the University of Mississippi, while Josh Nowell and Ben Napier were roommates there too. The group called itself Framily because their lives had been linked for decades. Ben and Aaron's role was not distant or symbolic. Hometown Inn. This together documented their direct involvement in the renovation, from design choices to emotional decisions. When Ben Napier saw the completed building, he said, "It's not just a hotel, it's a building that's saved. It is a corner of downtown that is saved." August 26, 2025, turned that saved corner into the center of the loss. The Heirloom Hotel was documented as being days from its planned grand opening when fire started on the building's top floor. The planning, the 18 months of construction, and the final countdown were all complete before that morning changed everything. The Framily had built something Laurel had never had before. To understand what the fire took, the investigation has to follow the exact timeline of August 26, 2025. Preliminary reports placed the fire inside the top floor area of the Heirloom Hotel on August 26, 2025. The cause was described as electrical, which matters because it separates the event from arson speculation. This was not presented as a mystery fire started by someone outside. It was documented as an accidental failure inside a building days from opening. Early that morning, Laurel fire departments fought the flames for hours as the damage spread through the old Cress building. The scene later appeared in Hometown, In This Together, with Aaron Napier and Mallory Raspberry watching as the fire was battled. Their reaction made the loss feel immediate, not like distant property damage. After the fire, the roof was severely damaged and later rebuilt by the owners. But the deeper restoration of the Heirloom Hotel still depended on insurance money. By June 2026, Liberty Mutual had not released the funding needed to complete the full rebuild, leaving the project trapped between repair work and an unresolved claim. The timing made the fire especially painful. The Heirloom Hotel had been scheduled to open during the holiday period after nearly 40 years of the building sitting empty. The 18-month renovation was nearly complete. The first guests were days away, and then the top floor burned before the hotel could begin its new life. The public saw the full weight of it on May 31, 2026, when the In This Together finale aired. Millions of HGTV viewers watched a completed renovation across 4 episodes, then saw the damage in the same ending. Ben Napier called the finale bittersweet, but the footage showed something heavier than that word could hold. The cause was documented, and the damage was visible. But the question that stayed alive was not only what happened on August 26, 2025, it was why, nearly 10 months later, the recovery was still waiting. Liberty Mutual became the center of the second crisis after the August 26, 2025 fire. The Heirloom Hotel was insured, the owners filed a claim, and by June 2026, nearly 10 months later, Ben Napier said the claim still had not been completed or approved. The fire was over, but the recovery was trapped in paperwork. Full-scale rebuilding could not move the way the owners needed because the insurance money had not been released. The roof had been rebuilt with their own resources, and some restoration work had started. But the complete return of the Heirloom Hotel still depended on the Liberty Mutual payout. Without that funding, the opening stayed out of reach. Community support took a physical form through the $29.99 photo rails sold at Laurel Mercantile. They were made from the Heirloom Hotel's original flooring, turning pieces of the damaged building into something people could carry home. Inside each one was a small note that said, "Keep building," a message that felt less like merchandise and more like survival. Aaron Napier's May 10, 2026 comment showed how little control the family and owners had left. When someone asked about the hotel's status on Instagram, Aaron answered that there was nothing to do but wait and see what happened with insurance. That statement made the delay feel plain, frustrating, and painfully unresolved. Ben Napier's June 1, 2026 statement moved the dispute into public pressure. He named Liberty Mutual directly and said their friends were still waiting for the claim to be completed. The words carried exhaustion, faith, and anger at once. After 18 months of building and nearly 1 year of waiting, the question was no longer only about fire damage. Ben named the insurer, and Aaron confirmed the waiting. But the most emotional part of the loss did not come from either of the Napiers. Amos Sledge was only 11 years old, but he understood what the Heirloom Hotel meant to Laurel, Mississippi. After watching Hometown In This Together, he wrote 2 letters to Liberty Mutual's board of directors and board president Timothy Sweeney. He was not family. He was a child watching his town wait. In those letters, Amos explained the community's pain more clearly than any official statement. He wrote, "This hotel and this show have shown truth and beauty, and what hard work and true friendship can do." Then he pointed to the unresolved Liberty Mutual claim, saying the owners still did not have the money to rebuild. The closing message made the letter feel larger than one damaged building. Amos Sledge told the people at Liberty Mutual that Laurel was not just any small town, but a light for the nation. He urged them to do the right thing so that light could keep shining. Coming from an 11-year-old, the words carried unusual force. Erin Napier's response turned the letter into a national moment. She shared Amos's plea with her millions of followers and made clear that she hoped Liberty Mutual would hear him. The advocacy did not come through lawyers or corporate language. It came through a child, a town, and a family trying to rebuild. After the finale, fans began flooding Liberty Mutual's social media with anger and disbelief. One documented comment captured the feeling. People could not understand how the claim remained unsettled after 9 months. The response showed why this became bigger than an insurance file. Laurel was grieving, waiting, and asking why help had not arrived. An 11-year-old's letter reached places the hotel owners could not. But the next question is how the Napiers, their friends, and the community built a public case while Liberty Mutual stayed mostly silent. May 31st, 2026 became the moment the private loss turned public. The Hometown Inn. This Together finale gave HGTV viewers the full arc in 4 episodes: the completed Heirloom Hotel, the fire footage, and the unresolved insurance claim. The comments and social media reaction showed the campaign had reached far beyond Laurel, Mississippi. Ben Napier's Instagram post on June 1st, 2026 pushed the pressure higher. He named Liberty Mutual directly and described the wait as nearly a year. Coming from one of HGTV's most visible stars, the post shifted the matter from quiet frustration into documented public advocacy for Jim Raspberry, Mallory Raspberry, Josh Nowell, and Emily Nowell. Laurel Mercantile's photo rails became the clearest proof that the rebuild was moving without insurance money. Sold for $29.99, they were made from the Heirloom Hotel's original flooring, turning damaged material into support for restoration. The owners were not sitting still while waiting on Liberty Mutual. They were rebuilding with whatever the community could provide. Public pressure then moved across Liberty Mutual's social media, where fans called for boycotts and asked why the claim remained unresolved. Some community members even requested meetings with the company's board. Those actions are documented in public comments and posts, but so far they have not produced a documented public response from Liberty Mutual. Liberty Mutual's silence leaves the investigation with a serious limit. The campaign cannot prove bad faith, a valid investigation, a coverage dispute, or simple administrative delay. With no public statement from the insurer about the Heirloom Hotel claim, only the Napiers' side is documented, and the final outcome remains genuinely unknown. The campaign is public, organized, and emotionally powerful. But an unpaid claim is not always a simple refusal. And the next question is what a delay this long usually means. The Napiers' documented position is the clearest public version of the dispute. Ben Napier, Aaron Napier, and the Heirloom Hotel owners have presented Liberty Mutual's delay as unjustified, saying a legitimate claim has still not been completed after nearly 10 months. That delay has kept the rebuild from moving at full strength, leaving Jim Raspberry, Mallory Raspberry, Josh Nowell, and Emily Nowell carrying financial pressure, emotional strain, and an unfinished dream. But it is still one side of a dispute. A second explanation is less emotional, but still possible. Insurance claims tied to historic renovation projects can take longer, especially when a 40-year vacant building is being changed into a new-use hotel. The Heirloom Hotel was not a standard property. It had a complex renovation history, multiple construction layers, and an electrical fire origin that may require a deeper origin and cause investigation. Together, those details can explain delay without proving Liberty Mutual acted in bad faith. A more speculative theory claims Liberty Mutual may be using the claim process as pressure after the public campaign began. But the evidence does not support presenting that as fact. The delay existed before the campaign became national, before the May 31st, 2026 hometown, in This Together finale, and before the strongest fan backlash. That timing matters. It means the public pressure may have exposed the dispute, but it did not create the delay. Every explanation still leads back to the same confirmed human cost. The owners are trying to rebuild the Heirloom Hotel without the insurance funds they expected, selling $29.99 photo rails made from the hotel's original flooring through Laurel Mercantile. Amos Sledge, an 11-year-old from Laurel, Mississippi, wrote to a corporate board because no available path had brought resolution. Whatever the cause, the waiting became something the whole town could feel. Fan reaction after the finale showed how the case became bigger than one hotel. Amos Sledge's letter and thousands of public comments turned the Liberty Mutual delay into a symbol of a wider frustration with insurance. One viewer wrote, "This is just one claim of probably thousands that isn't getting handled." For many people watching, the Heirloom Hotel was no longer only a damaged building. It became proof of how powerless families can feel after paying for protection. The delay has 3 possible meanings, but only one confirmed result. The hotel is still waiting. The most realistic answer depends on separating what is known, what is likely, and what Liberty Mutual still has not said. The Heirloom Hotel's future is no longer frozen in the smoke from August 26, 2025. The rebuild has started with whatever resources Jim Raspberry, Mallory Raspberry, Josh Nowell, and Emily Nowell can use. The roof has been rebuilt, the owners are still committed, and the inn. This Together finale turned a private insurance fight into a national conversation. A complex insurance claim is still the most grounded explanation for the delay. The Heirloom Hotel was a 40-year vacant historic building being turned into a new hospitality space in Laurel, Mississippi. The same things that made it special also made the claim difficult. Most likely, the dispute moves through the normal insurance process until some resolution is reached. The owner's response has already shown more than any payout could. The family behind the project has not stopped rebuilding, even without released insurance funds. Jim Raspberry told his children, "God gave me the strength to do it once, and if He's pleased for me to do it, they'll do it again." The $29.99 photo rails from original flooring prove they are still moving. Television may not be finished with the Heirloom Hotel either. Ben Napier and Aaron Napier have an HGTV deal through 2027, and a second season of In This Together could document the rebuild if the project continues. The same network that showed the construction, the fire, and the heartbreak may also show the restoration. Laurel's connection to the hotel explains why this became bigger than one claim. It is the largest project Ben and Erin Napier have ever been part of, a cornerstone of downtown revival, and a 40-year building brought back to life. Through Amos Sledge, an 11-year-old voice gave the clearest words for what Laurel was fighting to protect. The rebuild has begun, but the ending has not arrived. The final question is whether the hotel opens because the system finally works, or because Laurel refuses to let it die. August 26, 2025 delivered the event behind the title. An electrical fire damaged the nearly completed Heirloom Hotel in Laurel, Mississippi, only days before opening. After 18 months of work, Ben Napier's closest friends were left waiting through a nearly 10-month Liberty Mutual claim delay that he publicly called an injustice. Ben Napier's own words give the shock its clearest proof. He said, "The fire shocked everyone," compared the loss to the death of a loved one, and later wrote that the owners were still waiting. Those words matter because they came from Ben, not from rumor, and they show how deeply the fire hit Laurel. The unanswered question is now the future of the hotel itself. Liberty Mutual has not publicly confirmed an approval, a payment timeline, or a final outcome for the Heirloom Hotel claim. That decision matters because the insurance money is what stands between the owners and the full restoration of a building empty for 40 years. Amos Sledge's letter became the emotional center of the case. The 11-year-old wrote to Liberty Mutual's board, and Erin Napier shared it with millions. His closing line said, "If you do the right thing, it will keep the light shining." In one sentence, Amos explained what the hotel meant to Laurel. Ben Napier's faith is where the investigation has to leave the viewer. He said, "We don't know what the future holds, but we know God holds us." The fire is documented, the delay is documented, and the community has not quit. The Heirloom Hotel was days from opening, and it still may open. Ben Napier and his family built something extraordinary in Laurel, Mississippi, then watched it burn before the doors opened. Now, the final question belongs to the claim. Will the system help rebuild it? Or will Laurel have to keep the light on alone?